Y'all, I don't think we talk about this enough. Okay. If you're new here, I am Nikki. I'm a homeschool mom to an only child in 4th grade. This is a new series that I'm doing on my channel where I am discussing a topic, a question, anything you leave me in the comments or just something of my own in a short-ish style video. So if that is something that interests you, today we're going to be talking about social media, the pressures of social media and homeschool, addictions. Let's just get into it. I have had this on my mind and I just want to talk about it. So the pressure that comes with social media, especially for homeschool, content creating, stuff like that, is absolutely out of this world. There is these unrealistic comparisons that we put on ourselves when we are zoned in on this social media nonsense, really. And first, I just want to state, I understand that these are people's jobs. I understand that this is some making a living, trying to make a living for your family. How I'm in the same boat. And I'm not putting that down at all. These are my observations, and I wish I had a solution. I wish I had a better alternative, but I don't. So I am not dissing anyone. Let me just make that clear. But the pressure in the homeschool communities, it's a lot, because social media is in your face. When you're on Instagram, you're constantly seeing these unrealistic, in my opinion, homeschools. I mean, the perfection, the beauty. I mean, this is my homeschool space, guys. Like, I have books everywhere, I have stuff everywhere, and I get it. Like, not everyone is going to be like me, and I'm definitely not going to be like everybody else. But when things look too perfect, it doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me want to, it doesn't make me feel good about myself, because I know I'm not that person. And so it's this unrealistic pressure that subconsciously gets put on my shoulders of going, my homeschool should look like that, or maybe I should do something to make my homeschool look like that. And in reality, no, I don't. My homeschool doesn't have to look like that. And this could just be a perfectionist picture because this is their job and they need to make it look like that to be engaging and beautiful and show whatever content that they are, or their sponsorships, or their whatever. But it puts this pressure on me to feel like I need to be like that. And it's such a dangerous balance, because I'm this like realist, and like, I have an older home. I do not have a pristine house by no means. We are not organized with color coded and you know, you get the gist, right? Like, I live in my house and it's not a museum, and it's not always picked up 1000% of the time, and everything isn't new. I have old windows. We have, you know, it's a work in progress, right? But when I see these things constantly on social media, it sets up this unrealistic comparison in my head. It shows the highlights. It shows those expectations. Sorry, I have my notes so that I stay on track here, okay? The perfectionist pressure is also a huge thing. It is seeing these perfectly planned lessons, these a million unit studies, and all these different approaches, and the materials and the books and the beauty. And it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Why does my homeschool not look like that? Why don't I have the money to afford things like that? And it gets in your head, and it's this like overwhelm. And it may not seem like it in the moment, but it makes me want to go one click on Amazon. It makes me want to go one click on whatever website that I'm on. It makes me think I need to change curriculum. It makes me think I need to do a different plan in my homeschool. Because if I'm constantly seeing something that is so perfect and working for another family, it puts this unrealistic pressure on me. Then I get the fear of missing out, which can kind of pair into the addiction, y'all. I don't think we talk about this enough, okay? But the fear of missing out when you see other homeschool friends get together, do amazing, fun field trips, things in real life, but then in content creator life, you just see like, I don't know, I feel like if I don't log in and I don't go to those accounts, that I'm missing something in their life. I'm missing an update. I'm missing something. And that's another stupid pressure that like puts on my shoulders. But what's not talked about enough is that it ends up turning into what is an addiction. I hate to admit it, but like I fear and know at the same time that I'm addicted to my phone. Especially when you have things like this drilling all of that content into you on such a quick basis. But I've noticed the difference that it does to me in my home, in my homeschool. I can see that when I'm, you know, anytime there's just like a drop in something going on, or there's a drop in activities in our house, and then the second I get bored, I immediately pick up my phone. Ew, like why do I do that? But like it has gotten to the point where when we started homeschooling, I used to come down here and I used to put my phone to the side. I used to put do not disturb on, and I would leave it alone. And I would be one-on-one with her because she wasn't independent yet. She was in kindergarten. So I had to be one-on-one. I had to be in her face, doing all the things, teaching the lesson, and it occupied my mind. And then the more she started to get independent, the more my phone came into play. And I would, you know, the second she had to do something, I'm on here scrolling. I'm on here thinking of content that I need to create. I'm on here watching YouTube videos really quietly on the volume. I'm on Instagram and I'm talking, or I'm just mindlessly scrolling. And it's like I can't, anytime I allow myself to have boredom or calm or quiet, it like addiction sets in and I grab my phone. And I'm wasting so much precious time that I could be doing something in my homeschool. I could be doing something with her, enjoying the lesson with her, even if it's independent. And I've noticed like she'll be like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And like sometimes I don't hear her or I ignore her until I'm done doing what I'm doing on my phone. And that is really a whole other set of pressure when you add addiction to the mix. And I have noticed this about myself. I'm sure some of us can relate here. I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments, actually, because I know I'm not alone, but I feel like it's not talked about enough. The other thing that I want to touch base on is that external validation. When did I need to seek external validation? I don't know when that creeped up in my life, but that's going to be a topic for my therapy sessions with my therapist. But the more that I post, the more that I create content, the more that it feels that I would need that external validation, even though I know I don't need external validation. I know I'm amazing. I know I'm a freaking rock star, okay? And I know I'm a good mom, and I know that I'm a good homeschool mom. And yet, here we are. Another thing I noticed is memes are ruining our life. Hear me out. Don't come at me. I think funny memes are funny, and educational memes are great. Sometimes it's nice to see other points of view, sometimes it's nice to relate to things, but the overabundance, and I am so guilty of this, so don't come at me, the overabundance of memes, and some of it can really be detrimental to your mental health, because I have found myself, I'll see a meme and I won't fact check it, or it will send me down like an internal spiral or rabbit hole, because I think and feel exactly so much how I'll be like, oh, it makes so much sense. But then I'll beat myself up for it, especially if it's a parenting meme or from holistic psychologist, who is phenomenal, by the way. I'm not knocking her at all. She's amazing. She has helped me so much. But sometimes seeing it too much can make me realize things about me that are negative, and it is good to be aware of your negative traits and feelings and stuff like that, but I feel like it can totally do the opposite as well, and it can really put you down in a space that it's hard to come back from. And I have found myself like self-diagnosing myself almost by seeing memes and stuff like that. So that is a whole other set of pressure, and they're everywhere. That's like the new thing for social media. And I'm gonna try really hard and consciously not to be that person that constantly posts it on my content, especially on social media, because it affects me. Am I the only one? So I want to talk about ways to avoid the pressure. So let me just glance at my notes here. Number one, limit social media time. We have to start doing this, because you're going to find yourself in an addiction if you don't. And if you do and you're just using the excuse, oh, it's for work, oh, it's for this, it's kind of a sign of an addiction. So limit your social media time. Find times to block it out. Leave your phone upstairs and put it on ringer for once. You know, like us generational peeps don't like to have our ringers on anymore, because, you know, we all know why. But turn that ringer on so that you can hear it, so that you don't have to turn your phone off, but you can at least hear it, and then you can go to it. Or put that do not disturb on so that you don't get notifications to make you tempted to look at your phone. Curate your feed. Follow only the people who make you happy. If you are finding yourself with this pressure because you're seeing all the perfectionist stuff, get rid of those accounts. Unfollow them, or don't find yourself not scrolling. Don't scroll, don't look, just do what you need to do on there and get off. Number three, focus on your child's needs. I think it's so easy, like I was saying, it's not that I'm not present because I'm here and I'm sitting next to her, but if I was just focusing on her, I wouldn't be focusing on my phone. I wouldn't be focusing on scrolling on social media and seeing this pressure and feeling this pressure, because I would be doing what I'm supposed to be doing with my child. Number four, set realistic goals. We all know that, you know, cold turkey, deleting apps and stuff like that isn't for everybody, and not everyone is doing it, and tons of people end up going back to it at some point because it seeps back in. So set those realistic goals for yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself, and just know that, like, this is everybody. This isn't just you. There are so many people who struggle with this, but think of the people who aren't on Facebook, you know, those random few that you know. Think of those people who don't do certain social medias. Wonder why, like, start to question it. Why is that? What are my goals, and what do I see as in my future? Number five, reflect on the positives. It is so hard to put yourself down and be overly critical about yourself when we have that pressure, when we have that addiction. Try to end each day with, what are three things that made me happy today? And do it all the time and be consistent. When I noticed myself going to bed, I started to journal, and I would write those three things down. And I did notice a slight change. I haven't done it enough, but I need to do it more. Number six, connect offline. How many times do we end up connecting via Facebook Messenger or commenting on someone for their birthday? Pick up the flippin' phone and call them, show up at their house, bring them flowers, bring them a cake, do something that you would have done 20 years ago, 10 years ago. do a nice deed, send them something in the mail. Get yourself like involved in your community. Do something to where the only community you're seeing is not on social media. Like, prevent that from happening. It's nice, but we got to have boundaries. Number 7 kind of goes along with reflecting on the positives, but practice gratitude. And sorry, I wrote specific notes, so I'm just going to read this line that I wrote. I said, remind yourself it's okay to have hard days. Be grateful for the unique opportunities your homeschool provides, even if they're not perfect. 1000%. Get off the highlight reels. Get off the only this happens in my life and we're always smiling and everything's perfect. Let yourself know that they're having bad days just as much as you are. Train yourself to get off your phone, to break the addiction, because what's happening is that she's seeing that addiction, or your child is seeing that, and they're eventually going to go down that same exact path because they're like, well, if mom's doing it, or she wants to join in. Now she wants to post content, or she wants to watch endless reels of funny dog videos, which to an extent is okay, but let's be real, we need to minimize it. So take all of this information that I just gave you. I just tried to cram this into a short video and it's not being as short as I would like it, but it's such an important topic. Release the social media pressures. This is a big warning. This is not what everyone wants to hear, but we have to find what do we want in our life? Where are we going with our life? What do we want in our homeschool? How can we curate a better space for us in our homeschool? That's where I'm going to leave it. Leave me down below. I want to hear all your thoughts on this topic because I think it's such an important one that nobody talks about this enough. I'm just really curious, and I will see you in my next one.